Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's Straight Facts on Tuesday. I'm in the wrong place. I'm joined by Dan Potts and LB. How are you, gentlemen?
All good, bro.
All good. My team's actually signing players. Nice feeling. 2 down, couple to go. Top 4's in the bag. We'll get that this year. And next year we will be back. We will be back.
Do you know what you sound like? You see that guy on TikTok? He was viral for a while. You know how we do with a little 40 racks or two. Do you ever come up? He was a mank like you.
I'm not on TikTok. I ain't on that platform. Well, actually, I am. I went on it for like a week and I'm fucking got bullied off it. So I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. Nah, bro. Like, I posted a couple of clips, yeah, and like I was rattling everyone. I was like, yo, what's wrong with everybody on this app, mate? Like, everyone is hot-headed. I was like, yeah, fuck this, man. I'm getting off of this app, yeah. YouTube, like, you listen,
it is weird, man.
You get stick on YouTube, yeah, but like, it ain't that deep, yeah. But like on TikTok, everyone's coming AK-47s in the comment sections, and I'm like, yo, chill. It's just a football opinion, man. So I was like, yeah, get rid of this app, mate. That's not for me.
Do you know what I find with TikTok? The more extreme you are, and crazy, and the more stupid things you say, the better their reaction is. It's almost, I feel like TikTok, you get like a small percentage, maybe 10% of YouTube viewers who are in your comments that are real trolls, and like, I have people that watch every show I do 3 days, times a day, 7 days a week that hate it, right? But it's a small percentage of your audience. On TikTok, the more they the more stupid and angry and dumb you are, the more they love you. Someone like you guys on their LB and you speak a bit of sense, you're gonna get abused because it's like, no, we don't want sensible people on TikTok. That's why they've banned it in America, to be fair. That's why it's gone.
Like, you know what it is though as well. You know what it is, right? I know we're a bit off track here, right? But you know what it is as well. Like, you know, you're on YouTube, right? And we're doing these shows, right? These shows, what, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it's every week, right? So the chat get to know me, the chat get to know Potsy, the chat know when I'm winding them up, yeah. Because obviously sometimes, like when we speak about Arsenal, United, Liverpool, like I'll go a little bit extreme just to, like, you know, it's funny, innit? It's banter, but the chat will know that. The chat will know that, like, it's a joke and like I'm just winding them up. Whereas on TikTok, because you've only got like 60 seconds or whatever, like sometimes you'll say something which is obviously a joke, but then all the mutants on the app are like, oh, kicking off big time. It's just crazy, man. Yeah, Mad App, that is a crazy app, isn't it? Fair play to everyone who
it is, but in fairness, I get it on here though. I get it on here where I said on a video yes and no. I said on a video, oh, TikTok is back in the US, bro. Okay, I just heard it was gone, but yeah, I don't follow the news that closely in US politics and stuff. By the way, people, get the like button smashed. Loads of viewers very early on today's show. I thought there would be today with Arsenal dropping points. We're going to be talking about the news around Cunha that's broke across social media. We're covering Man United, a massive outburst and a massive fight really amongst the players and Amorim and co. And I know a lot of people are here for that. We're talking Chelsea in their pursuit of Garnacho. That'll be an interesting one to get the boys' opinion on as well. But I was going to say, someone clipped me up the other day because I said something about 2 weeks ago where I was talking about when I said Arsenal was scary. And I said it 2.5 years ago. And obviously, contextually, I'm talking about when I said it and why. Of course, I've repeated it since. And I said it in the video. In the video, I said, of course, I've repeated it since. Sometimes I meant it. Other times I did it to wind people up because I don't know if viewers are aware of this or trolls. We're all allowed to have fun on our platforms every now and then. Like, it's not against the law. But there was a comment because the guy clips it up that went, this guy's a snide. He did a video of it in the title a few months ago. He's a liar. He didn't say it once 2.5 years ago. And I'm like, bruv, someone has taken it out of context in a 30-second clip and you're getting angry. That's why I call these people, I don't call them mutants. I like that one. I call them toaster people because I wouldn't trust them to use a toaster. But listen, viewers, hit like buttons and make sure you are subscribing. Loads and loads to talk through and talk about today. I wanted to start, though, with Manchester United. Obviously, a terrible result of the weekend. Deserved to lose. Brighton with a better team. Doesn't excuse the fucking Onana and his crazy mistakes. But it now transpires that after the game, Ruben Amorim lost it with the squad, screamed and shouted at them. Turns out he smashed a TV in the dressing room. Some of the reports are there was even tears. There was even players in tears crying at this point because the manager was so harsh on them. Online is a mixed bag. Something is good. Something he's going to lose the dressing room. LB, good, bad, or indifferent on this from Ruben Amorim?
Hilarious. Very, very funny. You know what I mean? The demolition of Old Trafford has started already, guys. Amorim, you know what I mean? Started to break things inside the dressing room. The TV's gone. But yeah, listen, I think that basically, though the rumor has it, yeah, that he didn't want to take the job at the time. He wanted to wait until the summer, right? Now, part of that is probably because he was flying with Sporting Lisbon. But I do think Amorim knew and knows that these players, a lot of them are trash. Even some of them that are not trash might not be able to play his system, like Mainoo, who I think is a good player, but I don't think he can play in an Amorim system, in my personal opinion. And I think he was probably forced into taking the job when he was, because United probably said, listen, mate, we need to get rid of Ten Hag. We can't have another interim manager. It's now or we got to move on to somebody else, which is fair enough. I do understand that from Man United. And I think he's just getting wound up by the situation, which I understand. The players are letting him down, just like they let previous managers down. Obviously, previous managers are not completely faultless, but the players are a major, major issue at that football club. And I think he's just realizing that, like, oh, these players are trash, man. A lot of these players are really, really bad. And like I say, even some of the good ones can't play his system. So he's really stuck, and he's in a really, really tricky position at the moment at Manchester United, because it needs a full rebuild. So like when I'm talking about City, I say City need a rebuild, yeah? What I actually mean is we need like 6-7 players gone max, and we need 7 or 8 players in. United need effectively a whole new squad, bar maybe 3, maybe 4 players. Being serious. The goalkeeper's not good enough, yeah? Maguire, I think he's had a couple of good games, but he needs to go. Mainoo, Mount, is he going to be used? Rashford, you've got him there. You got the 2 strikers that you spent £100 million on, plus a load of other ones that I can't even remember. They all need to go, and you need to buy players that can fit his system. Now, the problem that you've got is you've got to buy players that can fit Amorim's system, which is a completely different style to Ten Hag. If you do that and Amorim doesn't work, you're then limited in which managers you can go for, because you've got players to play a specific style. So you'd probably be having to look at Inzaghi, someone like that, if you moved Amorim on. I think he's got a really, really tough job on his hands. I think it would have been easier for United if they would have got a manager that could have just played a 4-3-3, sort of like standard sort of system that could have adapted to the players. But Amorim, I see this as well. I see a lot of people saying Amorim needs to adapt to the players. I completely and utterly disagree. And that's not because I want United to keep losing, because that's what's going to happen. But if Amorim adapts to the players, that's kind of what Ten Hag did a little bit, and it got him into trouble. Amorim has to play his style. And if anyone's got a problem with it, look at the board and say, well, why did you bring Amorim in then if you've not got players to fit the system? I think Amorim's got to stick to his principles. I think it's going to get even uglier than it is already. And you've got to hope and pray that Ineos and the board get rid of as many players as possible. I'd start it now in January and in the summer and make a full rebuild as quickly as possible. But this, my friends, is going to get uglier than it already is, because the players can't fit his system. But Amorim must not, in my opinion, yeah, and I'm not just saying this because they'll keep losing, because they will, he must not give in and adapt the system to the players. Because if he does that, I think it's chalk, man. He's got to just keep playing the system and identify which players can play it and which players can't. But to do that, you're going to take L's. And some games you're going to get absolutely battered. But if you didn't want that, you shouldn't have got Amorim. You should have got someone who played a 4-3-3.
I'm going to go to Potsy in a second. What I love about what you've said, LB, is that you're a rival saying it, and most Man United fans can't see beyond the end of their nose. Most have thought every single manager that's fouled in the last 11 years, sack him, get better one, we do better. They have no idea about how to structure a club. And people go, Terry, you said the structure's in place. Why are you not playing well? There's a board structure, but it's still going to take 3 to 4 years to fix this team. I can't fathom. I can, because if everybody accepts it's a 3 or 4 year process, it means they can't be as angry today. Rivals can't banter as hard if they're actually honest that it's not going to take as long. One of the comments here says the United shit show continues. I don't feel like it's a shit show. Results on the pitch, I get, but I kind of knew this was going to come. The only way this goes wrong, the only way the Amorim appointment goes wrong, the only way him kicking off with the players goes wrong is if Ineos change direction. If they don't fully back him. and build a squad capable of playing the brand of football that he wants. That's the only way for me we fall flat on our face. So as long as we don't do that, I'm really relaxed. If we get halfway through building his squad and we say, do you know what? Bit bored now. We're going to go in a new direction. We're going to get rid of you, Amorim, and we're going to go for a manager who plays pragmatically in a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Then I'm just going to have no faith ever again, because it's rinse and repeat over and over and over and over again. I'm also not adverse to a manager shouting and screaming at his players. I'm actually not adverse to any manager or any boss at any level of any work condemning and shouting at his staff if they've done a bad job. I think we live in such an oversensitized world. No, you can't shout at people. I think you can, especially when you're paid exorbitant amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
Jose tried this tactic and he wasn't backed. So the only way this backfires, and by the way, Fergie had the hairdryer, but if Fergie didn't have control, it would have backfired, because people would have gone, well, we're just going to down tools. We're not going to work hard for you. And this is a real pivotal for me moment for Manchester United. The only downside for Amorim smashing the TV is Sir Jim is probably going to deduct it from his wages because of the cutbacks. That's the only negative in all of this for me when it comes to Amorim, is you might get fined for the TV because we're making cutbacks everywhere. But I'm just not. I was smiling when I read it. I was quite happy. The first source I saw put it out was a source called @ United Menace. I'm thinking, this can't be real. Who the fuck's this guy? But then as soon as Laurie Whitwell confirmed it, I was quite happy. I want this. These players have been taking the piss for far too long. They are soft. They are weak. They are nowhere near good enough to play for this football club. And I love one thing I've been told in the last couple of days. The players that we are looking to bring in, and hopefully 2 of them this window and more in the summer, athletes. The lack of athletic prowess in this Man United squad is embarrassing. We get beat to so many balls because we're just not fast enough. We get shrugged off so many balls because we're just not quick enough. And for me, I'm really happy with what Amorim did personally. I really, really am. Potsy, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, look, this is the result of years of neglect from Manchester United's owners, in my opinion, that they've just allowed money to be spent, 1.43 billion in 5 years, 5 managers, recruitment like that. You look at the money that's been spent and the player quality is absolutely shambolic, in my opinion. And it's not just the big signings, 2 or 3 of them. It's just the whole lot of them. I'm with LB. And I said this to you a while ago, Terry. I know we were giving you a tongue-in-cheek banter about the Chelsea and Man United comparisons. And I just looked with my eyes and I thought, yeah, I can understand why Manchester United fans want this team to be as good as Chelsea's, but it's just not. And that's Chelsea, by the way, who aren't even anywhere near, in my opinion, ready to win a title. So you look at the comparison of what you guys have spent and to what Liverpool and some of the other guys have spent. We can look at minimum of, quite a lot of money either club. But I look at the squad and I just think, wow, really? That much money went on these players? And, there was a tweet, and I said this last night to LB and the boys. I said, there was a tweet from Paddy Power when he walked in, and it said, Amorim will be all right. All he needs is a new goalkeeper, a couple of fullbacks, a couple of defenders, a couple of midfielders, a couple of wingers, and a couple of strikers. He might have a good 11. And I laughed. I'm thinking now, actually, that wasn't very funny. That was probably spot on because, look, I'm not saying all these players are shocking, but in terms of where you want them to be, if you want Manchester United to try with that squad to get into the top 8, cool, keep it. Because with the manager in time, I think you'll probably get there, right? But if you're wanting them to go for a title, you've got a hell of a lot of work to do. I like some of the young kids. I think Amad Diallo definitely is going to be a special talent. I like what he's brought to Manchester United and how he's been. But some of these players that have become your go-to over the last 5-10 years have got to go. I include Bruno in that. I include Marcus Rashford in that. I think you have to look at the recruitment of Xerxes and Højlund and think, what was all that about? And you've given, in my opinion, the biggest mistake that Ineos have actually made was keeping Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Because after that FA Cup, it should have been, do you know what? Off you go. We're bringing in who we believed is the next manager, whether it was Amorim at the time or not. And then we're giving them the full summer and the full of this season. Because you could have saved some of this from happening because it is an absolute nightmare. Now, I would say that in the next 2 windows, this one included, if you don't start to see things improve, then you might have to start looking at the manager. But to look at the manager now, I think it's just a mess, if I'm honest, at Manchester United. And even I don't want to slam the kid because he's just walked in the door, but I've never seen someone get pammed and slammed as much as this Lenny Yoro. I'm thinking, crikey, he's 18 years old and he's getting bled dry. It's just everything looks to be going wrong at the moment at Man United.
No,
so, look, man, he needs time. Needs time.
I agree. I mean, it's interesting. I'm not a tactico. But I watched a few tacticos talk about that with Lenny Yoro. And he's young and he made mistakes in the game. But also, the lip wasn't close enough behind him. He was
Agreed.
The fullback wasn't in the right position, and the manager even spoke about this. Why he didn't drop him? He basically said that we didn't have people in the right position to provide adequate protection. And for me, there's a handful of centre backs, and you'd probably put Van Dijk in that category because of his experience, but maybe not at 18, 19 years old. That most centre backs in the Premier League, if you put them up against a speed demon with good skill and you isolate them by themselves, they're going to get it knocked past them and they're going to run past, especially 18, 19 years of age. And so much of it is about the players not fully understanding the system. And when we play compact away at City, Arsenal, Liverpool, we do a much better job because everybody's close together. As soon as we get to Old Trafford and we try to open up and try to be the aggressor, which I think we have to do as a football club in the medium to long term, these players get exposed. Then what you have an issue with is some of them just can't cover the ground. They just can't get, and I don't even blame them. It isn't Bruno Fernandes's fault that over the first 10 yards, he ain't that quick. And you mentioned Mainoo earlier. I think Mainoo's okay on the ball in this system, but Mainoo, again, he doesn't have electric pace. And I'm looking at so many other teams in the Prem at the moment doing well. Forest. And I'm going to use that level for a reason. You look at Forest and you look at Bournemouth as examples. Aston Villa do this. There's a few players in their team. Like John McGinn isn't quick. He's not slow, but he isn't quick. But he's got loads of fast, strong players around him. You can get away with Mainoo from a physicality point of view being one of your central midfielders. If the DM next to him, some of the centre-backs behind him, and your kind of wing-backs that end up coming into the midfield area around him are really quick, really strong, and really powerful. What you can't have is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players of that similar sort of acceleration and speed to Mainoo in a team that's trying to play this way. If you literally gave us 2 or 3 players from each of those teams I've mentioned, the Forests, the Bournemouths, and the Brentfords of this world, we took some of their pace and put it into our side, we would look a much better football team overnight. And it doesn't surprise me that one of the briefings that's come from Ineos this week is that every player they're looking at or trying to sign, they're looking to get athletes. And for me, that was a really important message. I know we need to raise a technical floor. There's no doubt about it. But that has to come alongside players. And we obviously linked to this young man, Patrick. I think it's Dorgu.
Dorgu, yeah, he's a good player. Again, he's highly rated. Yeah.
Good talent, got good technical ability. But the things I've read from his sporting director in Italy is energy for days, really fast, great acceleration, and powerful. And we need that in the Man United team. We are so... it's like watching a lightweight fight a super middleweight when we're out there. And we're just so easy to blow over. So, yeah, look, we need that. But
I think as well, what will be really interesting just quickly is what he does with some of these players that were bought in for a lot of money that Ten Hag did bring in. And I'm looking at Onana as one of them. I've always thought that he was a problem. Now, I know that he started to improve, and I think he was probably one of the reasons he went out of the Champions League last season. Certainly, he started to make mistakes again this season, and you could actually put a highlight reel of how many he's made, and you'd probably get 9, 10, 11 mistakes in the Man United shirt. Those are the sort of things I'm thinking. Is he going to go, nah, need a new goalkeeper? Or is he going to be like, give it time, we spent a lot of money on him? That's what I'm going to look at with Amorim. And I think as well, what you need to do as a Man United fan is say, right, are they going to back Amorim the same way that did Ten Hag? Because let's be real, the players that he bought in, Ten Hag wanted, they were half of them from Ajax. Is Ruben Amorim going to be bringing in the sort of players, and they're all going to come from Sporting Lisbon? Are they actually going to come like the Patrick Dorgus of this world? Are we going to actually see some of that's an Amorim player, that fits the system? There's his wing backs. Actually, he's brought another centre-back, but I understand that centre-back because he's a ball-playing centre-back, whether it be. That midfielder actually now makes sense alongside Agate because he knows Agate well from Sporting Lisbon. Is that what we're going to start to see? And if that is the case, I think you can start to actually have a little bit of faith in Amorim. If you're a bit like questioning these signings again, you're going to be thinking, wow, okay, what's that? Are we going back here again? So, look, I like Amorim. I think he's a good appointment, and I stand by that. I know that he's not at the best of starts, but I truly do believe, people say it's hypocritical of me because I didn't do this with Mikel Arteta. I do think it is the players. However, I will say, and I'll say it again, in 2 windows' time when he brings his players in and you're still playing terribly, then you can look at the manager like we did with Mikel Arteta. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree. And there's a few of the sporting players I'd be happy to sign. I would. Or there's the ex-sporting player, Mendes, who's at PSG we're linked to.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not worried about whether or not they played for Sporting in the past. It's about whether or not they're good enough to play in the Premier League. And I think if you look at the players we got that had played under Ten Hag in the past, it was almost that they just weren't good enough for the Premier League, as opposed to had played for Ajax in the past. So if we were to sign Gypkeres and Mendes, I'd be happy with it. But what I'm hoping they're doing is scouting and trying to recruit players that Sporting wish they could get, if that makes sense. So Sporting are going to be limited by their budget and by the league they play into who they can bring in. What I'm hoping for is, like Amorim, in an ideal dream-like scenario, who would you get? And that's what we need, because I'm sure there's players out there Sporting would like to sign, but they just physically can't afford it, let alone attract the players to the league. So yeah, I'm relaxed about that side of things. If it goes wrong, then I'll call it out. But until it goes wrong in recruitment, I just can't sit here. I've seen a lot of United fans getting angry about it. But how can you be angry about something that hasn't even started yet? It's kind of weird to me.
You know what it is for me as well with your signings? I'd try as much as possible now to avoid young players, because you've got Diallo in there, you've got Yoro in there, you've still got Højlund, you've still got Xerxes.
Mainoo,
yeah. I think you need a little bit of a older player, not too old, yeah, but like someone who's he's like 25, 26, who is doing it now at a decent level, who you can sort of like then take up to sort of like a world-class level. I think you've got enough of these young players now. What you need now at United, you need players that can deliver now. It's been a decade, man, since you won a title. You need players that can deliver now.
I think getting that mixture is spot on, mate. I agree. And one of the links today is obviously Napoli have agreed personal terms with Garnacho. But one of the links coming out of Italy, and the Italian press has been ahead of the game on quite a few of these deals so far this summer. The Italian press has said it. The typical disrespectful Brits go, that's bullshit. And then an hour later, you got Ornstein saying, oh, it's true. But one of the things that's come out today is that Napoli are basically saying, look, please don't sell Garnacho to Chelsea. And we'll get onto that in a moment. They're essentially saying, we'll offer you a discount on Osimhen. So for me, although I don't think a centre forward isn't everybody's priority, I'm also thinking about something that Amorim has said, that he's very aware that he needs results to survive. And if they keep losing and losing and losing, he might not even get the chance to spend money and be backed. I think he's maybe being exaggerating a little bit, but I think he's also stating that he understands he's got to win. So for me, if they turn around and go, we'll give you a big discount on Osimhen if you allow us to get Garnacho, that's the kind of player I'd like us to sign now. So if you brought him in now, I think he could help us score enough goals to get enough wins to just keep things ticking over until the summer, until we can add better centre-backs, better central midfield players as an example. So, and again, I look at his age, I look at his experience, and look, some people don't rate him, and that's fair, but I look at him and think, I'd love a player like that to come in, because as much as I know we've got two strikers already, they're just not good enough already. And Xerxes was great when he came on against Southampton. I was happy for him. But he could play like that every week. I still don't see him scoring enough goals. And we need more goals in this team. So I agree. So as an example, if we went and got this young lad, he's 20 years old, ain't that young. If we went and bought this 20-year-old and then went and got Osimhen, I'd look at that and go, great. And I like Garnacho, but if it was Garnacho out, Osimhen in, I'm not against it. I think we're getting a prolific goal.
Unbelievable.
It would be
unbelievable business.
Would be. So no, I agree with that. What do you guys make of the news that Chelsea are about to submit a second bid?
No sense. No sense in that. I'm sorry, I do not get that at all. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. I look at the wingers they've got, and I don't see there be any need for Garnacho to come in. I look at what they've got with Sancho, with Pedro Neto, even Madueke, they seem to hype up. They've obviously got enough there. I do not get the need for this. Now, obviously, Mudrik's got problems, so maybe they're looking at upgrading upon him. But I do not see Garnacho as an upgrade at all. I think he's a young player that I think will probably be, I think it's been a little bit overhyped by some of the Man United. But I get the hype with Diallo. I think Amad Diallo actually looks like a really good player. I've never quite got the one with Garnacho. I think there's been glimpses of it, but there's never been any consistency. I think the attitude's a little bit strange at times. And for me, I don't know if he's going to turn into be a top player or if he's going to be a little bit of a Januzaj, if you remember him, or Makeda, whoever they're coming through at the time. So that's my honest thoughts of it. I don't know about LB, but I think it'd be a strange signing for Chelsea. But I'd be more than happy to see him go for him, because I don't rate him.
I do not understand why they wouldn't be targeting a striker. Or I know Jackson scored a nice goal last night. And he's done all right this year, but he's not going to take these. He's not going to take them to a title. Why on earth would they not target a goalkeeper or a striker? over a left winger. I do not get it at, and it's not like they're getting him on the cheap, like the Sancho got him on the cheap, innit? But like Garnacho, oh, it's going to be big money, man. You know that Sanchez, mate, is bottom 3 goalkeepers in the league. I've previously said he's the worst. I don't think it's a controversial statement. He's definitely in the bottom 3 goalkeepers in the league. For a team that wants to go for the title, you've got to improve, mate. How are you not upgrading this? What am I seeing that no one else is? Why is it that Sanchez is still in goal, man? He is awful, awful goalkeeper. Go and get a legit goalkeeper, man. What are we doing? Why are they steining Garnacho over a goalkeeper?
Yeah, or a striker.
Yeah. Listen, maybe they could wait till the summer for Jackson. Yeah, but listen, I said on this channel, yeah, to Don, go and get Osimhen in the summer. No. We don't want to break our wage structure. Well, maybe if you would have got Osimhen, you'd be in a title race still.
Facts.
You know, that's the truth, man. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know why they're doing this. It makes no sense. I think he's well overrated. I think Diallo's clear of Garnacho. I think you're going to do really well out of it. Sell him, because I don't think he's got a future at United. I don't think he's that good. I think Diallo's clear. But why Chelsea are buying him over targeting a goalkeeper? That's a mystery, man. It really is.
They bought 9 goalkeepers, Chelsea, haven't they? And none of them look good enough. That's the thing. They can't get a number 1. If Sanchez is the best out of them 9, what are the other 8 doing? Let's just be real. Like, I look at the situation now up top, and I just think, yeah, Jackson, he started to prove a lot of people wrong, including myself. I never thought he was a shambles, but I always thought him for the goal that he was, if I'm honest. And I think that he's proven at times he still is. He's going to be a squad player for them, but he needs to be a squad player. They need to look at who is their next guy, whether it's Victor Gypkeres, whether it's Alexander Isak, or whether it's Victor Osimhen. They're in a situation like Arsenal. They need to go and get a proper killer, but they need a goalkeeper as well. And I don't know who the goalkeeper is, but there's goalkeepers out there that are 100 million times better than Sanchez. I'm with LB. Yeah, so look, Chelsea go and sign those 3 signings, a goalkeeper, a centre-back, and a striker. There's nothing stopping them going for a title race next season. Nothing at all. That's what I see.
Yeah. I like Garnacho, but I see no reason for Chelsea to do it. Some Chelsea fans, I think, are pushing this. Yeah, he's just the replacement for Mudryk. You're dropping £60 million on a replacement for Mudryk. Seems a bit excessive. It's considering there are other players in the league that you could go to Bournemouths, you could go to Brentford's. I mean, you're talking about a player that's only costing about 20 million less than Kudus. It doesn't make sense. The amount of money that's being spent for what you're all classifying it. The only way it does make sense, and if we're just objective and forget our own views on the player, is if Chelsea see him as a first team player. If Chelsea see him as, we're not actually happy with what we're getting from Neto, from Sancho, from Noni Madueke, and they see him as a replacement. £60 million seems excessive for someone that's going to play second fiddle and play in the why do you need that for a Conference League player? It don't make sense whatsoever. It's the same price. I know he's on lesser wages, only on 50 grand a week at us, but it's the same price as what Napoli want for Osimhen. So it doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. And I get that you're saying 35 million max, cool, but that isn't what the reports are saying. You guys are pushing and negotiating. Look, United are asking for 60. Let's say you get a discount. Say you get it for 50 million. I still think at £50 million for a backup is excessive when you could go and get a world-class goalkeeper for something along those lines, and that would leave you in a better position. You could go and get a really good goal scorer for that type of money. You've got West Ham out here bidding £57 million for Duran. You've got Nottingham Forest bidding. They've been rejected, but it's a benchmark, £22 million for Wissa. If Wissa is valued at 22 million, let's say they double it and they get it for 44 million. If Wissa is 44 million, Garnacho can't be 50 million. It can't be. And I like Garnacho. He just can't be valued more if you see him as a backup. That is crazy business, in my opinion. But I don't want him to go. I really don't want him to go, because just in case he does work out, I'd rather him be at Napoli, out the way. Like Scott McTominay's having a great season. But I'm glad he's having it there, and he's not currently top of the league in a Premier League side. But yeah, it's a bit of a left wing one. And you can tell Chelsea fans are fuming about it as well. Like, Chelsea fans are absolutely fuming about going for this player, especially the ones who back Clear Lake, who've been backing the sporting directors, who've been backing this project. I think they're looking at it and thinking, well, how do I, I'm talking about you, Don. I think they're looking at it and it's like, how can I word this? How can I word it? Because it's crazy. It's a crazy bit of business.
Don hates Garnacho as well, man. He doesn't rate him at all. He's been linked with both of them, and he's like, I don't want either of them because they're terrible. But well, they're not. I think Mainoo's a good player. But...
I think he rates Mainoo, but Don has done the whole. Don does this thing, and fair play to him. It's Don's approach. He kind of does the whole. Yesterday the stat got showed that Noni Madueke has scored more open play goals in the Prem this season than Saka. He's the kind of person that would jump on that and kind of make half a point. He likes to troll. And the problem is when you start getting linked to the players you've been trolling, it just creates a bit of an awkward situation. But yeah, that's a weird one. The super chat here says Sanchez is top in save percentages.
All right, yeah, sound dead running, yeah. No, it's fine. Running says he's mint then, innit? So yeah, chilling. All right, and you keep him then. What are we doing? Is this guy legitimately trying to what's he doing? Why is he saying that in the message?
Defending
is he trying to tell me that he's a good goalkeeper? Is that what he's trying to do? Ronnie, what is this? What's the purpose of this sentence?
He goes on to say that Garnacho is young and fixable. So he's backing that and says Enzo needs a mate and he is replacing Mudrik's role. Also Enzo, because they're Argentinian, he's got a friend there. His salary is also the one thing that is true, you'd probably get him for about 80 grand a week. So salary wise, he fits. But this is where I challenge you. If you're going to drop 50 million pounds on a player because he's on 80 grand a week, what does that tell you about the ambition to try and do better this season? When you could drop similar transfer fees, put someone on 200 grand a week who could actually score you 20 to 25 league goals a season. When you could drop 50 million pounds and 150 grand a week and go and sign a world-class goalkeeper who wouldn't create the mistakes and the problems and the carnage at the back that Sanchez does. I kind of get what you're saying about Garnacho, but I just feel it shouldn't be anywhere near Chelsea's priority right now, more than anything.
There's almost so much about that super chat, which is bizarre, by the way. I'm sorry, Ronin, big up to you, but I don't think I agreed with any of the things he broke down there. I just think that is Sanchez is a top goalkeeper because he's got the top save. Enzo needs a mate, and we're trying to replace Mudryk, so that'd be a good signing. I don't agree with any of those statements. It's just bizarre, but big up to you, bro.
Yeah, this here says that's all. Yeah, it is. It's about the same transfer fee as Kvaratskhelia.
Crazy. That was a mad one, that, by the way. How nobody was on that. That must have been pre-agreed months ago or something. How no one jumped all over that. 63 million Kvaratskhelia. I was screaming for Arsenal to do it. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy money.
That would have been for you, though, if you would have got Kvaratskhelia, because you need to upgrade your left wing.
Would have been fantastic.
But Trossard's just inconsistent, man. That's the problem with Trossard. When he's on it, Trossard's mega, but he's so inconsistent, mate. You need to upgrade him. Martinelli for me. Nah, he ain't it.
60 million Garnacho to replace 60 million Neto to replace 90 million Mudryk to replace 60 million Pulisic. Sometimes I wonder how much work some scouts actually do in competence.
That is facts, man. I mean, I like Pedro Neto, but the others has been an absolute disaster, really. There, and let's be real, how much money that Chelsea do just waste, man. It's just crazy, criminal.
I have a theory, though. Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
So I have this conspiracy theory. So let me premise this as well. So this is a bit of fun, ladies and gentlemen. If you take it seriously, touch grass, get a girlfriend, enjoy life. What if these billionaires that own clubs have a little pack? When you're struggling financially and you need some help, Chelsea will buy Mount off you. But when we're struggling and we need some help, you need to buy one of ours. I just look at it and think, when you think about Kai Havertz, when you think about Mason Mount, maybe Garnacho, and there are other ones as well. You saw some real examples in the summer of 2 or 3 of the clubs in PSR issues all buying each other's young players for 25 million, none of which have kicked a ball for either club this year. I am starting to think maybe there's an element here of, okay, we're in a good space now, but you're in a good space, but we need some help. We're willing to give you Garnacho, but we need that pure profit. Can you help us? And I don't know. I feel like it holds a little bit of water, but some of these transfers just feel strange to me.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal.
I agree. Weird.
Arsenal and Chelsea have got a weird obsession with each other in sharing players. Let me tell you that. So maybe you're right, bro.
Potsy, would you take Garnacho at Arsenal?
No.
Would you not?
No, I genuinely don't think he's any different to Trossard or Martinelli, bruv.
Yeah, no, I understand. I wouldn't take him if I was you, but I thought I'd ask.
No, I'm not a fan of him. I think he look. It's a bit harsh. I'm not a fan of him. He's still young. He could go on and be great, but I don't see it personally. I take Diallo over him any day of the week, personally, out of the two. But but yeah, I wouldn't take him. I want someone who's a guaranteed star, not another squad player, man. We've got too many of them in Arsenal.
I agree. That's why you should have gone for Kvaratskhelia, man.
Bro, I was crying. He was the one. He was the one for me.
Wait, was it even that expensive? Was it that? How much was that Kvaratskhelia?
63, man. 63.
Wow.
Mate, we paid 65 for Havertz, man. Come on, what are we doing here?
Amazed that you didn't even get like. Was you even linked with him?
Nah.
I think that's like a prime position that you need to upgrade. And that's not even that expensive, man. And he's a good player.
Very good player, mate. I couldn't believe it. He was on 40k a week at Napoli as well. So he wasn't even asking much wages. It was just an absolute no-brainer. But I think PSG had agreed ages ago to get rid of him, to get him in, because nobody even went for him. Man United, no Chelsea. Chelsea linked with Garnacho. Why didn't they go and get Kvaratskhelia if they wanted a winger? Do you know what I mean? Why was it just PSG that got him? There was no one else linked, apparently. Maybe there was Liverpool and Chelsea that was sniffing, but I think they just got told, nah, it's done. He's off to PSG. It's mad that no one went for him. He would have been brilliant for the Premier League, man. Would have been brilliant.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. The same Osimhen that has one season of 20 goals. You are true. He got 31 goals that year. But that's not actually not true. So
nobody likes him, do they? Nobody likes Osimhen.
Let's go for his. Let's go for his career since he started playing. So his first two seasons, he only played 14 games across. 16 games across 2 seasons. Clearly young and clearly not playing regularly, right? But no goals in 16 games as a kid. From when he first started playing week in, week out, first season, 20 goals. Second season, season of his full-time debut, 18 goals in 38 games. And then he did 4 years in Serie A, 10 goals in 30 year one, not great. Then he got 18 goals in 32. Then it was 31 goals the following season. And then last year, we know there was problems and there was issues and the team kind of fell apart, but 17 goals. So far this season at Galatasaray, 14 goals in 18 games. So, yes, you're right. He hasn't had loads of 20 goal a season, 20 goal a season. He had 2 seasons where he scored 20 goals or more in his career. But the ones, he had 3 that were narrowly just below that at 18, 18 and 17. And this year, the current goal scoring rate he's on, he's tracking towards scoring over 30 goals again. So, for me, again, at 50-odd million pound, that's pretty damn prolific. We're not talking about 150 million pounds here. And that's the thing. And I don't think he's as gifted on the ball, by the way, as Alexander Isak. I don't. But then you look at Alexander Isak and you think to yourself, well, he's only ever scored over 20 goals in one campaign as well. And you're talking 150 million pound.
Exactly. So you're not going to be able to get Isak.
Yeah, exactly. So Isak's being quoted 150 million, but 1/3 of that price is a player who, and this is what, look at the numbers here. In 294 games for Isak, he's got 129 goals in his career. That is a player that is now considered a 150 million pound player at 25 years of age. In 241 career games, so 50 less, Victor Osimhen has 128 goals in that time. He is 26 years of age. I think they're actually the same. If they were in school, they'd be the same year, I think. No, he's 1 year older, Osimhen. So I just look at it and think, and by the way, I think Isak is technically a better footballer. I do think he should be more expensive. But this whole idea of 20 goals a season, like Andy Cole only had like 1 year at Man United where he scored over 20 goals. He's still a United legend. Michael Owen never scored 20 league goals in a season ever in his entire career. And he was a Ballon d'Or winner. I think it's a stat that's well over-egged. If we could bring in a striker who played 40 games, 50 games a season, who scores 25 to 30 goals, I'll be buzzing about that, mate. And I think Osimhen could do that. Terry, bro, all you do is waffle and tell lies. Well, I just thank you for the super chat, bro. And if you think I'm a liar, the fact you're giving me money to tell me that, I think it says a lot about your disposition. But thank you, bro. We love it. Terry saying we need athletes and muscle. We literally shipped a guy to Napoli who was that, but I forgot this fan base who says goals with. What I would say, Josh, and I appreciate the super chat, is this: what I did say about having muscle and speed and power, I also said we have to raise the technical level, the technical floor of the team. So maybe with hindsight, and by the way, if we would have switched to Amorim in the summer, maybe we would have kept McTominay, but he's still a player we needed to upgrade on. We can't get away from that and kind of rewrite history either. This here from Garcia, who says, from a Sporting fan, this really worries me. 1, that means the leak was never fixed. 2, for 5 years, Amorim has been at Sporting. He never did these things. He isn't that kind of manager. Thoughts?
Is he on about Amorim kicking off?
Yeah.
That's because your club's a completely different situation to United. Your club's not a mess. Why would he be throwing TVs on the floor and kicking off and getting people crying at Lisbon? Your club's a well-organised club, thanks to Hugo Viana. And, you guys have been cooking. When people are cooking, I'm sure he lost his rag a couple of times, but for the majority of the time, I bet things were rosy. Yeah, he's gone into a different club, bro. Like, United's a mess, mate. And that's the difference. It's just more of like a compliment to you, because your club is cooking on gas. Well, it has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I know they had problems at Sporting. They had the players kicking off and fans, and they were fighting. But what I'm unaware of, and if someone knows more about Sporting than we do, I don't think you had the player power issue Man United had. I don't think you had the kind of lack of work ethic potential. Maybe you did, and we don't know about it. There's a lot of things, plus the media attention, the scrutiny you get is so different. And what I love, though, is he obviously did that. But in his press conference, he looked cute, cool, calm, and collected. That is what I want. If you're going to kick off with your players, do it behind the scenes. I'm glad he didn't come out in a press conference and, like our other managers, and start calling some journalists fat. I'm glad he didn't come out and say, you guys can criticize me, but I won back-to-back league titles in Portugal. Like, I don't want any of that, if I'm being honest with you. That didn't end well before. You have to play 4 positions for Arteta to buy. That's why you're not going for Kvaratskhelia, because you don't play 4 positions. Kvaratskhelia has less GA this season than both Trossard and Martinelli. Thought you wanted a bagsman. He doesn't solve our problems, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Listen, he got 8 goals. He's got 8 goals and assists this season in 17, which isn't bad. But that's in a team where clearly he was wanting out of. If you look at his stats in the last few, I think he got about 15 to 17 last season goals and assists. And it was about 23 in the season he won the title with Osimhen up front. So this guy at 23 years old lit up the Euros for Georgia. I thought he would have been a phenomenal signing for anyone. So, yeah, I think he'll go kill it. I mean, at PSG, he's going to kill it if Mbappe can do that. I think Kvaratskhelia can. I don't look at what Kvaratskhelia does over there and think, he ain't going to do much over there. I think he'll kill it. I think he would have been a phenomenal signing. I really do.
He also, as well, I'm not going to use the word pre-assist because people hate it, but because it isn't quite the pre-assist, but he also opens, you go back and watch those games for Georgia at the Euros.
100%.
He wasn't the guy that always got the goal or an assist, but he drags players out of possession. He drives at teams, and he'll drive at a fullback and a centre-back almost at the same time, go inside, outside, a little bit of a twine, as we used to call it when I was younger. He'll then cut it back. Somebody then passes it on and they score. So statistically, you'll go, oh, he didn't do anything this game. When you watched him, it wasn't just creating space. It was how he was so aggressive in his attack that it would create space for others. And I feel that as an overall attacking player, there's good numbers from him, but it's also that his general play is there as well. And I think it would have been a phenomenal piece of business for anyone over here. Amorim didn't build Sporting, Hugo. Yeah, I mean, but Amorim isn't building Man United, and I'm going to push back against that. The people building it are the Wilcox and the Baradas of this world. Their job is to back him as the head coach. So Amorim will fail if they don't go out and land him players that fit the way he needs to play football. He will foul. Or if he walks into a meeting next week and goes, you know what, Mr. Barada, do you know what, Mr. Ratcliffe, I'm going to change my style. I'm going to go 4-3-3 and just counter. If they let him do that, so when I always say this to people, they've got to back the manager. But he's had money. I'm not talking solely money. Backing him would be saying, no, don't you dare do that. Don't you dare quit on what we need you to do. Backing someone doesn't just mean giving them money. Sometimes it actually means, kicking them up the arse when they need it, motivating them, being supportive when they feel that. Because he'll have those moments. He'll have those moments where he feels like, am I failing? And that's where he needs backing and he needs support. It's so important. So yeah, he's not built. He alone isn't rebuilding the club. So he needs support more so than ever. Josh here says, I don't care about technical play. Can you win me games? The aim of the league of sport is to win. It isn't freestyle. Yeah, I think we're missing each other here, though, Josh. And I know you're a long time. I'm not saying I just want tech. I don't want some maximum. I don't want someone who's pacey and speedy like what's his face?
Doku. Adama Traore.
I don't want that. I want a central midfielder. Onana at Aston Villa would be an example. What Douglas Luiz was like, technically very proficient, but they've also got that good speed and good power, that mixture of those two things. What McTominay had, that kind of bursting into the box and getting goals, that's also something we're missing. But you've got to go and find a midfielder that has all three of those things. Now, I don't necessarily know who that person is because I don't claim to be an aficionado of all things football. I don't pretend to know everything about every player in every league. There are some real anoraks out there that will know that, but it's that mixture. We can't just, okay, he scores in the box, we keep him. He's got power. Yeah, but he can't pass. Yeah, but he's got power. He's a really good passer. Yeah, but he can't run. We need to start molding that into multiple players at the same time, in my personal opinion. Speaking of Arsenal, some of the news... Actually, no, we're coming to Arsenal in a minute. I wanted to ask you, LB. City, of course, the medical today, which we reported on earlier on today for Omar Marmoush. You signed the young centre-back from, I think it's Brazil, 29 million quid. You happy with your business so far? Douglas Luiz linked with a move in. As it all looking from a City perspective, mate?
Better than it was a month ago. I'll put it that way, man. Yeah, I'm a bit more confident on top four now, which is good. These two young centre-backs coming in, I'm not going to say too much about them because I've never seen them play, but obviously they're very highly rated, highly promising players. I think Marmoush is a fantastic signing. And we just need a midfielder because we get a decent midfielder in. Like, we can give the Champions League a crack, you know what I mean? And the FA Cup and that. And, if we can have a good go at that and a good go at the FA Cup in a terrible year, then that's not too bad, man. So, yeah, spirits are a lot higher. Very happy with our business. It proves that business can be done in January. So all those people that say you can't sign anyone in January, that's a complete lie. You can sign people. You've got to get the cash out. And, yeah, let's see what midfield. I don't think we want Douglas Luiz. I think he's a backup option. I think we're targeting somebody else. Now, who that is, I don't know. Is it Edison at Atalanta? Is it Baleba? Is it Cambiasso, who's at Juve, who can play in the midfield? I don't know. And then maybe if they can't get any of them, they'll just get Luiz. But yeah, mate, like, I'm buzzing, man. Marmoush, bro. I've already ordered me Egypt top. Yeah, my Egypt top's on the way with Marmoush on the back. So buzzing for that. But yeah. Very happy, mate. Very happy. We've started to improve as well. Unbeaten in 6 now. And, if we can go to Paris tomorrow and get a result, I think I'll say that we've probably turned a corner, man. So, yeah, buzzing.
Yeah, midfielder, though, LB, because, you were saying about Rodri and how he's been missed and all that, and Man City fans were going into meltdown saying, we need a midfielder. And if you go and get 2 centre-halves, I think they're good signings, by the way, they're very highly rated for their age. And I think Marmoush is a baller. It's another player I would have quite happily wanted Arsenal to sign. But I think you do need to get a Douglas Luiz type in. I know you're linked with Edison from Atalanta as well and Cambiasso as well. I don't think that Cambiasso is a defensive midfielder from what I hear. I think he's more of a fullback, but potentially could play there. But you need to bring someone in because obviously you've still got the Kovacic and Bernardo's and Gundogan's of this world. Let's be real, I think Manchester City looked really good in the last couple of games I've seen them play. I know Brentford was a disappointing ending, but I do think the way you're playing is a lot better. KDB's come back at the right time. Foden looks like he's balling out again. Haaland's scoring. So definitely moving forward, you look a lot better. And I think the additions will only improve that, man. I still think you could potentially finish runners-up in the league. I don't think you can win it. I still think you could come second. I think you're only 6 points behind Arsenal.
Yeah,
so the way we're playing, I think anyone can catch us at the moment. And you look at what City are still in Champions League-wise and you're in the FA Cup as well. So Man City have had a poor start. And the league table looks like it's going to show not too pretty for them in terms of them winning it. But certainly they're not going to finish trophyless, in my opinion, if they can get signings right and start to get their form back because it's City, isn't it? That's what City do. And I think the signings have been good. I think you've had the best January window so far, if I'm honest. You're doing stuff. And this is the difference between, I know we're going to come on to Arsenal in a bit. This is the difference between the owners and the way the clubs run at Manchester City in comparison to other clubs. And it's not just Arsenal, by the way. I look at what the other clubs are doing and thinking, what is actually happening here? Like, it's the 22nd of January and City are about to potentially get their 4th player in when this midfielder comes in on top of the 2 centre-halves of Marmoush. And my club, who's bare bones, is doing nothing, and it's the 22nd of January. So that's where we are in terms of seriousness. And I think that just shows what backing your manager does. Pep has clearly said, look, I'm signing, but you're going to have to help me here. Like, I'm not in a good position here. We're going to have to get some players in. They've gone, yeah, what do you need? Well, I want these 2 centre-halves. I want this winger, and I need another midfielder. All right, consider it done. That is what you should be doing as a club. That is a serious club to try and save their season. Mm-hmm. Arsenal, wow. Don't even get me started. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why so many people say like you can't do business in January. I get that it's probably harder, right? And I get maybe some players are out of reach. For example, we can't get Bruno G out of Newcastle in January, right? Can we get him in the summer? Who knows? It's probably easier to get him in the summer than January, right? There are some players that you just can't get, but you can sign players. It's a complete and utter myth. Right? If you couldn't sign players in January, they'd just close the January window, and all the football guys would just be like, what's the point of having a January window? It causes tensions, it causes us uncertainty, and no one actually buys anyone. So let's just close it, let's just cancel it. But they don't do that. Why? Because people actually do sign players. If the owners want to put the money, put their hand in the pocket, get the money out, and they go in properly, you'll get the player. Yes, you have to overpay a little bit. It's January tax. That's how it works. It's like when you buy an English player, English tax. But this thing of you can't buy players in January is fake news. You know what I mean? It's fake news, man. And you know what I mean, my club's doing something. And you look at a team like Arsenal, who can still win this league. I don't think they will win the league. I think it's done. I think it was done about 5 weeks ago. But if they invested properly, which is why I don't think they'll win the league because they won't, then they could still go and win the league. They're only 6 points behind with a game in hand, obviously, for Liverpool. So, yeah, man. Listen, I don't know. I feel like I don't know how people can be Arsenal fans, man. Like, they get so close all the time. And it just feels, from looking out from the outside, looking in on Arsenal, they always get so close. It just feels that one little last push to really go for it, to sign that player that's going to move the needle, to get them over the line. Nah. Like this summer just gone. This was the summer to go big. Go and get another winger. Go and get another attacking midfielder. Go and get a striker. Go big, go get Osimhen, go and get these guys. Mikel Merino, Calafiori, or Raheem Sterling on loan. It doesn't move the needle, man. You didn't win the league last year, so you need to play to move the needle. You didn't get it, and it just I don't know, man. Like I don't know how Potts does it. I can't lie, mate. Like I watch your fan cams, Pottsy, mate. You know what I mean? And I don't know how you do it, bro. It's a madness.
It's tough, bro. It's tough because. Feels like broken record when I do fan cams at the moment. I put them out on my channel, or I go on FTV, or I go on other people's channels, and I say the same thing. And there's a lot of the fan base that don't like what I say because they think it's negative. But I get to a stage where I think, how can you not see what we're seeing? It's the 22nd of January. We had a terrible summer window. Okay, that's done. History. Stop talking about that now. Let's move forward. What can we do when this next January transfer window is open? On the 21st of December, Saka went down against Palace. 21st of December. We should have been going, oh my God, we're going for these targets. Saka's just gone down. What do you need, Mikel? What do you need now? Because he's one of our best players. Do you need to move it a little bit? Do you want something else? What do you think? Should we shift our targets to that? And we're just plodding along 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, in fact. We're on the 22nd of January. That was the 21st of December. 4 weeks later, we've still got nobody in. And I sit there sometimes and I think maybe it is me then. Maybe it's deluded. Maybe this team is going to win the Champions League and the Premier League with this squad. But we know it's not going to, right? We know it's not good enough. Right now, the squad is not good enough. When you are 2-1 down against Aston Villa and you're thinking, we look tired. I don't want to be seeing us draw in this game. We've been 2-0 up. Let's look to the bench for some support. We ain't got anything. Raheem the Dream comes on, light for light with Martinelli, who was actually one of our better players. We've got Partey at right back. What's going on? This is a poor squad. We've got 12, 13 players that you look at and you think, do you know what? When Arsenal have everyone fit, they've got 12, 13, maybe more if people want to throw 14, 15 at me, that you think fair play. But we needed 20 at least that were top quality. And it ain't good enough. And the summer transfer window was a shambles. Merino, don't rate him. Slows things down. Supposed to be a duel winner. Loses a duel with Yuri Tillemans for the goal. Turning circle of a bus. Slows the game down. Really poor in terms of driving us forward. I don't see anything that he's brought to the team. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't see a massive upgrade on El Neni. Because you know what with El Neni? he was pretty honest. He wasn't a Fabregas, and he never said he was. He was a player who come in and was a squad player, and he'd do a little job for us.
Yeah.
Done his job.
You know what
this guy is not taking us forward, Marino, at all.
No, you know what's mad, right? Yeah, because let's try and park the Arteta thing, right? Because we spoke about that a lot, right? Whether you're Arteta in or whether you're Arteta out, surely you all agree, because there's a lot of like division in the Arsenal fan base. I think we all know that, right? But surely you can all agree that this is poor. This transfer window is poor. Like, you should have signed a player by now. Like, Saka going down, for me, that day, I called it. I said the league's over. So why have they not signed someone? Why have they not brought someone in? Like, surely all Arsenal fans, no matter which side you're on, Arteta in, Arteta out, Kroenke in, Kroenke out, whatever, surely you can all agree that, like, that is poor. Your season is going down the pan because you've not brought enough players in January. Obviously, I think your summer transfer window was bad as well. We called that out at the time. I just don't understand what you're doing. I just feel like, again, I say it again, with Arsenal, I just feel that, like, Arsenal are a good team. They're a very good team. But the difference between being a good team and a great team is quite a lot. Like, you've got to invest and you've got to push. Yeah, we've all was on this panel supported teams that have won, right? And to get from a good team to a great team, you have to invest. Yeah, you have to pay. The good example, right? Because it was one player, right? 2012 when City won the league. Yeah, United missed out on the league on what, goal difference or point, whatever it was. What did they do? They went out and bought Robin van Persie, a needle mover, and guess what happened? They won the league. It's not rocket science. You have to improve, and I just feel that this summer, the transfer business was appalling. I watched that. I've never seen that Marino before, right? I watched him like in the September or whatever international break. The first time, because I was looking at Zubimendi, right, and he was playing for Spain, and I watched him. I thought to myself, what does this guy actually do? Now, granted, it was only 90 minutes, right? And you can't really judge a player off 90 minutes, but I watched him for Spain. I thought, what does this guy actually do, man? I don't know why Arsenal signed him based off of the one game. And I was just, and I've been proven right on that. Like, I don't know what he's there for. I think you've mentioned this before, Popsy, that they thought he was some sort of Xhaka replacement, but Xhaka is levels above Marino.
He's so much better, man. And they're not even similar, LB, either. They're not even similar in terms of the passing and the way that he drives forward. I think Xhaka's also got better leadership qualities and mentality, better mentality than what I can see from Mikel Marino. It's still early days. I'm happy to see at the end of the season. Likewise, Calafiori, but these two have not lifted us to another level. Now, people will say, oh, so you're not happy with them too. Listen, I would have been fine with them two coming in on top of a winger and a striker. Yeah, you don't buy them two as your stars to go, right, now we're ready, because we haven't got anything up top. And if you look at the actual areas and departments of the squads that Mikel Arteta has spent money on, he's neglected the attack, because in midfield and defence, he's kind of stacked us, to be fair to him. Yeah. Now, some of those players aren't good enough in terms of the squad, but at least he's actually brought players in. In the attack, he's brought Willian, he's brought Trossard, he's brought Marquinhos, Jesus, and Havertz. That is not good enough, man. That is not good enough. So I look at the situation at board level and at the Kroenke level so far, and people that are still sticking up for this, their answer is this: what's the matter? We're second. And do you know what that means? We're not 8th and 5th anymore. So it's fine. As long as we're not 8th and 5th, this is glorious. No one can laugh at us. We're second. Everyone that looks up and laughs, we're looking down at you and laughing more and louder. I don't care where everyone is. I care who comes first. I don't care if Arsenal comes second and we can go, look at everyone else below it. I don't do that. Yeah, I don't give a damn. When we've come second, it's not been a success. It has been a failure, because there is only one team that can win this league. You don't come second and go, wow, I mean, this is unbelievable. We were 8th not long ago. This is insane job he's doing. Come on, man. The end of the process was not to come second. The end of the process was not to put us back challenging. The end of the process was supposed to be lifting silverware. We can't even lift cups. Let's be real. This season, there's more opportunity of everybody in the top 6 having a manager that could potentially win something this season other than us. And that's not even me bantering. Liverpool are probably going to win silverware this season, as are Chelsea. There's as much chance as Man City winning something this league. There's probably more chance, to be fair, if you winning something. And at the moment, Tottenham and Manchester United are 2 of the favourites, whether you think that's laughable or not, to win a trophy, whether it be a Carabao Cup or a European Cup. Arsenal have got to win a Premier League or a Champions League, otherwise we're not winning anything. And we have to deliver, Till. We have to deliver this season, man.
Yeah, that's where insult gets added to injury. You know, Man United in the last 2 years haven't been very good. Weren't bad, actually, the first year of Amorim. For a while, we came third in the league, but we haven't been that good over the last 2 years, and we've won 2 trophies. If somehow this Spurs team in 15th wins this Carabao Cup, you know, if Man United were to go on, you know, let's say this young Patrick comes in, let's say we did get the Osimhen deal, and we're playing if buts and maybes here. But say he comes in and he scores goals, and we ended up going to win the Europa League. Chelsea are, by the way, definitely going to win the Conference League. That's happening. You know, if City were to catch you and finish in front of you, you add, and I'm not saying all these things will happen at the same time, but if even a couple of these things happen, it's insult to injury for Arsenal. And I got what you said at the start of this segment, that this is where Arsenal fans have got to start, I think, being a bit more grown up. Dropping this nonsense about Arteta in and Arteta out in terms of I need to win that debate. Winning that debate, what does it mean? Let's say you win it. What does that mean? You get a prize? Magic star? You win the league. If you're an Arsenal, I've always said he'd win the league, and look, we've got the trophy. What do you get for that? Like, genuinely. I know some people think my YouTube channel will get bigger, get more followers on X. I might get a bit more of that Elon Musk money. You won't. You really, really won't. It's not really going to help you in any, you know, you're not going to get a bonus at work. Maybe your wife will give you a little bit of hours your father. I don't know. But why the desperation to win the debate? I find it pathetic.
That's why it needs to move, bro, to the transfers. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out, all Arsenal fans must be in agreement that they need to sign players right now.
You're spot on, right? That's just the two camps. Forget all the normal people in the middle. The two extreme camps. They hate him, they love him, right? The two extremes. I think both would agree that there's more chance of winning something this year if you buy players. They all, like, if you love Arteta, well, yeah, I want him to get even better players. It makes it easier for the man I love to win me trophies. If you hate him, I want him to go. But do you think you've got more chance of winning the league if you brought Osimhen and Zubimendi in now? Yes. Well, they should both want it then, because your club winning should be more important than
you know what's even funnier,
in any direction.
Do you know what's even funnier? You've got the extremes that want him out that are saying, don't give him another penny. And then you've got the ones that are really liking him saying, might have to wait till the summer. And it's like, so you're both agreeing that we might not sign anyone then. Like, what is going on here?
And the don't give him another penny thing. I also find that to be so weird. If you signed Zubimendi, and if you signed, you're getting him in the summer. But say you went out now and you went and bought Nico Williams and you went and bought, I don't know, Osimhen. And the problem here is it becomes very subjective. Well, I don't like those players, so I don't want us to spend more money. Like, drop your own personal preferences for a moment. If you went out and bought a couple of really good players now, whether Arteta was successful with them or not, the next manager would then inherit those players. The idea of Man United fans say that too. I don't want us to buy any players until I'm happy with the manager. But you might not get the manager you want if the squad's shit. The fuck, like, football fans are weird, bruv. Sometimes all of us, right? I don't think it's just Arsenal. I think there's weirdness everywhere. But yeah, you guys,
we have got a strange fan base, though, mate.
One of the rumors that I saw online shared by at Arsenal stuff this afternoon, coming from an account I think called Team News and Ticks, who a lot of Arsenal fans like that account. They've stated that Cunha has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but of course he's also agreed personal terms for a new contract at Wolves. He's refusing to sign the new deal due to Arsenal's intent. I keep seeing Arsenal linked to Cunha. Do you think that's a deal that could happen this January? What are you hearing as an Arsenal fan?
Well, I don't think that Team News and Ticks is reliable at all. Let me tell you that. I don't know how you can have someone who's agreed terms with Arsenal and then is waiting to sign a contract with Wolves. Well, which one is it? You know, has he done both? Like, what does he want? This is very, very bizarre for me. Look, I personally like Cunha. Do I think he's a needle mover, though? No. I think he's going to come into Arsenal if we do get him, and I think he's going to score some goals, and he's definitely better than what we've got. So at the moment, we're looking at a player that's out of pure desperation. We're going to say, yes, let's go and get him because he's better than what we've got. But is it actually the one that we want? Is it the one that we actually look at and go, right, that could save Arsenal's season now? I don't think he is. And if they're saying they want 70 to 80 million for him, I'd rather go and release the clause of Victor Gypkeres for that money, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, I'd rather go and do something else with that money. So I think it's a hell of a lot of money for a player who, let's be real, has only just started to bang in goals for Wolves this season. I don't think he was doing much the season before. I do actually think he's quite wasteful in front of goal as well. People will say that he's quality and he's a baller, but I speak to a couple of Wolves fans I know and they say, yeah, good player. We can see it. We all know it. But when we watch Match of the Day and he's banging them in top bins, actually, when you're watching for 90 minutes, he can be quite wasteful as well, Cunha. So I don't think it's a player that Arsenal get in and go, right, now that's the one. We're ready to go and win the league now. But then I asked the question, who is there that can do that and how realistic is it that we get there? Look, the one thing that frustrates me at the moment is that we always sing that song, Summertime. Summertime, because that is all that matters to Arsenal. They don't care about winter, right? They care about the summer. And it seems already that we're talking about Zubimendi, Sesko, and Nico Williams as the next three signings that are coming in the summer. So what happens in the winter then? Do we do nothing until then? Because I'll tell you this now, if we sign nobody, I mean, I don't think we're going to win anything anyway, but we definitely aren't if we don't bring anyone in, because this team is absolutely wiped out at the moment, right? So, Cunha, would it happen? Could it happen? Potentially. But I don't see why Wolves would want to sell unless it was for unbelievable money, because they're in a relegation fight right now, and he keeps them up, in my opinion. So that's why I don't know if that one's going to be happening, to be fair. I don't like to point fingers and say that's a reliable source and that one isn't, because if I'm honest with you, I'm no ITK and I don't know what people do or don't know, right? So I just don't get involved in it. But I saw that today and I thought, well, already that looks like a bit of a contradiction statement that he's agreed personal terms with Arsenal and waiting to sign a contract at Wolves, seeing as he's agreed terms there. Well, which one is it? Which one does he want to do?
Yeah, no, it does seem weird. Maybe what he means is this person or she, whoever it is, right, is maybe he agreed personal terms with Wolves and then Arsenal shown the hand and now he's like, oh, well, actually, chill, Wolves. Maybe I'm not going to sign this contract. Because it doesn't make sense otherwise. So I think that's probably what's happened.
Yeah, that's what when you read it out here, this is what they've posted, saying that Matheus Cunha has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but has also agreed terms on a new contract with Wolves. However, he is refusing to sign due to Arsenal's interest. The player really wants Arsenal and is pushing to make it happen. So I can understand from that. In that context, it makes sense.
Yeah. Do you think he'd be a good signing? Do you think Arsenal?
I like it. I actually think he's a pretty good player. I think he'd come in. I think he'd strengthen your midfield in terms of attacking, creativity, getting more goals, which I think you need. I said this in the summer, going into the league campaign, 4 competitions with 1 creative midfielder. Odegaard, who's not even that creative, is a bit of a madness. I think it's a good signing, but why on earth would Wolves sell arguably the best player or one of the best players when they're joint points on the relegation zone with Ipswich? If they sell him, that could be the difference between getting relegated and not. I don't care what they're offering me. If Arsenal throw 70 million, I'm not accepting it, because this could be the difference between getting relegated or not. Now, again, a club's actually bothered about staying in the Premier League these days. I don't know, but I wouldn't be selling him if I was Wolves. But I think he's a good player. I think he strengthens your midfield.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's good. I think he's one of those players. I don't think he is a huge ceiling raiser. Someone on the channel, it was Cunha sort of said, it just reminds me of another Gabriel Jesus. And what I would say about that is this: maybe on goals you're right, but if Gabriel Jesus could stay fit for 50 games a season, he'd improve Arsenal in terms of your general play, helping you to score goals, scoring some himself. So I think he does improve you, but I wouldn't look at it as the signing to, that's it, that's our main attacking signing now and in the summer you need more. The Sesko news is also interesting because the Athletic wrote I wouldn't even call it cryptic. It was, for me, it was obvious what they wrote today. They said Benjamin Sesko had his heart set on finishing the season in Germany, and Leipzig would only accept an offer if it was above their valuation. And then they can't go on to say, so it's unlikely it's going to happen. What that reads to me is the player's open for the move. Leipzig will sell if you offer enough money, but Arsenal not willing to do it. That's how that reads to me. But the Athletic obviously don't want to burn its relationship with Arsenal by saying the deal is available to happen, but it will cost 70 million, and Arsenal have said no. But when you read it and you go, well, what does this mean? If the player had his heart set on finishing it in Germany, that means his head's been turned or he's open to moving. Because why would they write the word had? If he said to Arsenal, I'm staying in Germany till the summer, you wouldn't write the article as he thought he'd stay in Germany. He had his heart set on it. And Leipzig, it literally says Leipzig will accept the bid if it's above the valuation they have. And I think they value him at about 60 million. So, and this is where, and again, you don't have to like him, subjectively. But from an objective perspective, Arsenal rate him and they see him as the future number 9 of your club. Now, I don't think he's perfect yet. But
No, me neither.
But does he score those goals that Kai Havertz missed in the 2 cup games? Probably. For me, I think he's good enough to score those chances. He's certainly more clinical than Havertz. And yes, people can find, I remember this chance he missed and that. Listen, I've seen Erling Haaland miss a lot of chances as well, right? It happens. But I still think he's a better number 9 than what you've got. But if he really is the future, he's really the number 1 target. I don't see the issue with spending 10 to 15 million pound more to get him now rather than waiting till the summer, because he could be the difference. He could be the difference. And it gives him 6 months of working with the team ahead of the summer, full pre-season, to start the season like not flat-footed. Yeah, and this is what's crazy. Maybe he starts off poorly. When Man United signed Evra and Vidic in January, Vidic started okay. Evra started like crap. And I was at the game. I was living in Manchester at the time. I was at the game away at the Etihad. 12:40. It was 12:45 kickoffs back then. He was atrocious. I think City beat us 3-0 or 3-1. Evra got dragged off at halftime, and the manager just told him, just watch and learn English football. It's crazy. But that 6 months where there was lesser expectation, we weren't really in the title race. We went on to win the Carabao Cup or whatever it was called then, the Carling Cup. The next season we won the league. But that 6 months of football, and then I think it helped Evra and Vidic so much going into the next season. So yeah, I just don't like I know Arsenal, I don't agree with just spending 50 million pounds on a body like we've said about Garnacho to Chelsea. If he isn't genuinely going to be part of your first team plans going forward, don't drop 40, 50 million pounds on him, because what's the point? That is a waste of money. But if it's a real target, not a panic buy, but it's a little bit more expensive, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, I think you've got to do it, because it could be the difference.
If that's the guy you want.
I guarantee you in the Champions League, Potsy, sorry to interject. I guarantee in the Champions League, if you go out, it will be in a game where your attackers miss chances, where you go, how have you missed it?
Facts.
And I just think an out-and-out, fully trained number 9 has a much better... no one can guarantee Sesko does it, Vlahovic does it, Osimhen scores it. But if you're going to bet on an out-and-out 9 scoring those chances, or Kai Havertz, an out-and-out 9 or Odegaard, I'm talking about the guys that play centrally, you're going to put your money on the number 9s. So I just think you should take the risk, personally.
You're bang on about that as well, because let's take the cup games already, right, that we've been in. The Champions League, we're doing pretty well in at the moment. That could change in the knockout rounds like it normally does with Arsenal, but obviously we're not there yet. When I look at the Man United game, Kai Havertz missed from 1 yard, right? Sesko might not do that, or another player might not do that. Then you look at the Newcastle game, he missed from 2 yards with a header. I mean, I don't know who heads the ball like that anyway, but obviously he did, and it didn't go down too well for him, right? So we're in that position already. Both of those cups we could still be in with a proper killer number 9. Then you look at the situation in the Premier League. How many draws have we had? I'll tell you, 8. 8 draws. With a killer up top, we definitely do pick up more points. And in the league right now, we're closer to Liverpool, maybe even top of the league. So that is so obvious. That's why it's so obvious that Arsenal need a number 9. Now, I don't think Benjamin Sesko is my number 1. In fact, he's nowhere near it, in my opinion, right? I'd much rather have an Isak or a Victor Gypkeres over that. In fact, I'd rather have a Victor Osimhen even over Sesko. Sesko, I think, will probably have the most potential, because obviously he's 20 or 21 years old. He's quite raw. He does score goals, but he's still not actually the top scorer in Bundesliga, and he's not even the top scorer for Leipzig, right? I think Openda's got more goals than him. So I look at that and I think, yeah, you are an upgrade on Kai Havertz, but to be fair, at the moment, so am I. So could that be enough to get us across the line? I don't know that any of these links, mate, right? And I'll be honest with you, boys, any of these genuine links so far take Arsenal across the line still. Cunha, Sesko, even Zubimendi in the summer, and Nico Williams is the other guy that we want. I don't even know if we get all of them 4. Let's just say we get those guys in. I don't think any of those take us across the line.
Because you need the X Factor players, bro.
Exactly. And we were told we would get this back into the Champions League, which, do you know what the quote was? We'll sprinkle this squad with gold dust. Well, they haven't sprinkled it with gold dust. They've sprinkled it with shite, if I'm honest with you. Because other than Declan Rice, who's actually been bought in that you think, oh, yeah, that's a hell of a signing? Because Marino ain't, Calafiori ain't, Sterling ain't, Neto ain't. Then you go back to the other previous summer, Kai Havertz was one of those players. Other than Timber and Raya, who have at least come in and been first teamers and got nailed down their positions, there's only Declan Rice, bruv. since we got in the Champions League that's come in that you can say, yeah, fair play. And at the moment, we're struggling to play him in the right position. So it's a shambles, bro.
Bro, for me, I say it how many times, man. This summer just gone was the summer that Arsenal should have brought the X Factor players in. Yeah, the big players. Go and get a world-class left winger. Go and get a bagsman. Go and get another creative midfielder. And it would have cost you a lot of money. It would have probably cost you maybe 160, maybe 200 mil. But that's what it takes to win a league title, man. Because you got to spend money. You got to buy players.
You look at the stats here on this. So this is Sesko versus Kai Havertz this season. So let me just preface, but I'm not saying Sesko is a finished article, but they both average 2 shots per game. That's excluding shots that are blocked, that are considered blocked, as an example. I don't know why they did it, but it does that. So it does that. Now I think Arsenal probably create a lot of chances as well, but he has 2 shots per game. The difference in accuracy, Sesko's accuracy of hitting the target is at 65%, where Kai Havertz this season is at 48%. He gets more shots on target. He scores more goals per shot. His conversion rate is 10% higher. Now, for me, if that maintains itself over the course of a year, the additional volume of goals Sesko scores versus Kai Havertz grows exponentially. It keeps going up and up and up. And if he can get better, plus you're a better team than Leipzig, in my opinion. So there's the opportunity for more goals to be created. You've also then got Kai Havertz as the backup who can still do what he's doing, can still score some of those goals. And this is what I just think. And look, what you'll get some Arsenal fans say is they'll do the typical, but I don't like Sesko, so no. But you're being subjective. If the club rate him, why are they not going for him? A lot of the time we get angry as fans because the clubs don't buy the players that we like. And I understand that to a certain degree. And sometimes we end up being right, don't we? Oh, look how good he's doing at this club now, as an example. But you're missing the fundamental key point. Arsenal keep briefing, they see him as the number 1 target. So if they see him as... So if you're someone who is... If you're pro Kroenke, you're pro Arteta, there should be no reason why you don't want him. I kind of get it if you're in the camp of, Lee and Northside and these, Brandon, guys that don't rate the recruitment, don't rate the squad, don't rate the manager. I kind of understand why they don't want it. It makes more sense than the people that are going, I love the club, love the structure, love the recruitment, love the manager. I know we need a better goal scorer, but no, let's not spend an extra £5 million, £10 million on players. Wait till the summer and spend less. No, it doesn't. It makes no logical sense for you to say that. Go get your man. Get it done.
Facts. This is true. I agree. I don't know if Sesko's the guy. I don't think he is the guy. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd prefer a bigger name. Someone that's scored goals. You know what I mean?
Who would you get, LB? If you were in charge right now, who would you think would be a good signing for us?
Realistically,
in terms of this January, not the summer. Right now, January. Because I would want Gypkeres. That's the one I would want. But 84 million release clause. There you go. Just go and get it. Just go and do it. If you got 80 million or whatever it says Sesko, yeah, and in the summer, just go and get Gypkeres now. Or Cunha, whatever. Just go get Gypkeres, man. He's ready now. He's firing, bro.
For me, right, you've got to go and get a striker. Now, you can't get Isak unless you're prepared to wait 2 years because you're not going to get him for anything less than 150.
No.
And you're not going to pay 150, right? So, can you get Osimhen now? Well, he's on loan at Galatasaray, so I don't think you can get. I don't think you can get him out of that loan. Galatasaray would have to agree with that. So you're not going to be able to get him. So you'd have to wait until the summer for Osimhen. After that, you're really looking at Gypkeres, Vlahovic,
and Sesko.
Yeah, and Sesko. And for me, just go and get one, innit? You know what I mean? Like, bro, we've all got our preferences. You've got your preference. Terry's got his preference. I got mine. And the chat have got theirs, yeah? If it was me, I'd wait it out and I'd try and get Osimhen.
I think Osimhen can be got, though. I think there's a recall clause that Napoli have. So essentially, Napoli can recall him and then sell him. I think I read that in the summer. If anyone's got new information on that or different information, let me know. But I think they can. I think they've got the right to recall him and then sell him. So, I mean, Fenerbahce would be happy if you do that as well because you'll probably slow Galatasaray down. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you've got to do it at Arsenal. I think that with the injuries as well. I think the news come out today when Aries back as an example. But again, he's just had an injury. You don't want to throw him straight back into the starting lineup because, you see, again, your Champions League game tomorrow night is important Because yes, you're in a good position, but I think if you win this, it guarantees you top 8, right?
It doesn't guarantee tomorrow if we win. I think we still have to. Well, I think we have to win both of them. We definitely have to take 4 from the next 6, I think, to be guaranteed that 8. And even if we take the 4, I think that goal difference is nasty. And what I don't want to do is to be finishing on the same points as 8th place, but you come 9th or 10th with goal difference. That's going to be cruel. Yeah. So I think you have to win both, really. I don't know what the points difference are. I don't know if you got it in front of you, Tel, but
yeah, I've got it in front of me now. So what's interesting is that you're on 13 points in second, plus 9 goal difference. As low down as 19th, Club Brugge are on 10 points. So from a points point of view, yeah, your next 2 games are, and this is where it changes a little bit though. So you play Monaco, right?
No, we play Zagreb and Girona.
Okay, Zagreb and Girona. I just want to see what's good about that though. Girona are pretty much at. Well, they're not. Again, they win their last 2 games. They can make the top 20. That's what I love about this new format. No matter how shit you've been, you're kind of not out of it. But yeah, Girona and Zagreb. Where I'm just trying to see where Zagreb are at the moment. Where are Zagreb? I can't even find them. Both low down.
Yeah, they're low down.
Yeah, both low down the bottom. You should be winning them, but imperative that you win those games. But equally, what you can't be doing is going, there you go, when you're starting straight away, because you're going to do a muscle again. You know, you've got, I mean, you win. Yeah, I think you win your next game, and that puts you on to 16 points. It'll be interesting to see who else wins below you, because that might change it, if that makes sense. But yeah, making that top 8 is going to be massive, because you don't want those extra 2 games. City's game, I can't wait for PSG City tomorrow night as well. It's
that's mad as well. City, you've got to win that like big time.
So the PSG, PSG even worth.
Yeah, well, PSG
a point lower. I know, it's great.
That's mad as well, man.
PSG must be fuming though. City was shit for all those weeks, and they're just starting to get back to their best.
Worst time to play them now. He's wanted to play them a few weeks ago, but I think they'll beat PSG for the record. But with us quickly on what you said about the injuries, and this is a big thing about Waneri coming back and Calafiori coming back. We are literally have been overplaying players. Saliba's now the next one to go down. The amount of time he's played in the last 2 years is scary. Timber will be the next one because he's come back from an ACL and he's played pretty much every game this season. You can't do that. So we're now relying on him to stay fit. He's going to be the next one to go down. So we really do have to rotate a little bit better. And I've been disappointed with Mikel Arteta this season in terms of that, because we definitely don't have the squad. But by completely flogging these players, we've now lost Saka, we've lost Jesus, we've lost potentially Saliba for a few weeks now. Waneri's gone down. Ben White, he's been overflogged. Timber, I think, will be the next one to go crumbling down. We just need to get this squad sorted, because you can't go into 4 competitions with 13 players. You can go into 1 and just play 13 and just go out the others with your kids, but you cannot go in all 4 competitions. And we found that hard, which is why we're now at potentially 2 of them. So that's what I would say on that. But I think for me, I think we should be winning both of these next 2 games in the Champions League. And hopefully we can go on a run in the league, man, and see where it goes from there. But we've got to get players, man. We've got to get players.
I hear you on that. Let's go to some of these super. Ronin here has come back to he says, Sancho issue are fixable. And what ball playing world-class keeper is available. Developing Garnacho could be a gold mine at the price versus
so you
salary.
could try and get Costa who's better from Porto. You could try and get that Chevalier from France, who PSG want. You could try and get Edison off City because he wants to leave. But come on, man, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Ronnie? Come on, man. I see this guy as well on the super chats in the past, man. He speaks facts in it, but this one for me. I think you got to hold the L on this one, bro.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I think Sanchez can be upgraded quite easily, and I don't think Garnacho is going to be that gold mine that you're expecting. But I hope you're right for your sake, bro. I hope Sanchez goes and pulls out a Petr Cech season, and Garnacho turns into your Arjen Robben. But I just can't see it, to be fair.
Did you see Spurs fan after the game from the interview, Dan?
I don't think so. What Spurs fans that? From what interview?
Did you see Henry Wright? And I'm seeing
we're on our knees. Yeah.
Ranting. Car park down on his knees. I'm thinking, what is he doing, this boy?
I say you spoke trolls earlier. I got stick from some United fans going, I can't believe you're laughing at United fans' reactions to the goals going in. I'm like, bruv, me laughing at Goldbridge losing his mind, Saeed, and in the past, Saeed and Faz arguing over biryani. It doesn't make me less of a Man United fan. It's just funny. It's just funny watching people reacting that way. Some people are fucking strange, matter. This window is on KSE. Nobody can convince me of the narrative that the manager doesn't want players. We've seen KSE do this before Arteta. Common denominator. Would you agree with that? I mean, because I don't see a world where Arteta's going, no, I've got all my team. I don't 100%. Want no one else.
No, he's come out in interviews and he said we've got a small squad and that we want to try and do something if we can to support. And all of this stuff for me is begging it. Declan Rice came out in an interview for the Tottenham game, I think it was, and said we had to play Kieran Tierney on the left wing. That's how short we are. So these players and managers are basically saying, hello, can you help us? And unfortunately, we've been here before under both managers, Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger, where we've been short in windows, where we haven't done anything, or we haven't quite done enough. It's been going on before Mikel Arteta. The common denominator is Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke. And it's fine saying that they've given us money or they've allowed funds to be sent, because I won't have this, they've given us money. They've given us 200 million in 17 years. That's nothing, yeah? Nothing at all. So they've allowed the funds to be, delivered to them. So they've allowed the funds to be spent and they've authorised that. But it's been self-sustaining football and self-sustaining model. Can't have that anymore. If you're going for a title, you can't have self-sustaining. It's got to be ambition. And the ambition in the window was, we want to win this league. And we believe Marino, Calafiori and Sterling are going to do that for you. And everyone laughed, including me. I was like, well, that's another season we ain't going to win the league. But look, maybe they'll surprise. Maybe a miracle will happen. Liverpool drop 4 games. Arsenal will win the remaining 16 and will win the league. And we'll go and win the Champions League as well. But I can't see it personally. So I just got to speak facts with it and be realistic. I think it's going to be a poor season for us again, unfortunately.
I'd love a poor season coming second.
You sound like Arsenal fans, so don't you? Sound like Gooners.
But that's the thing, right? I understand these things are sort of perspective based. Where we are right now, I'd love to be coming second, but equally, if we got into a title race and then another one, your mindset changes, and it's meant to change. It's understanding where you're at. Josh says no. The one before the game with Peter Crouch. No.
Sorry, I did a TNT interview with Crouchy and with a Tottenham fan, Johnny. Big up me. Yeah. No, I do know Johnny. Yeah, and he's a good old boy. And I had a good banter with him. And do you know what? He was very brave because he was in his full Tottenham kit right outside the Armoury while everyone was walking past him. So big up to Johnny, man. Nice one, Josh. I know what you mean now.
Mad how football's changed. It still can be dangerous on the wrong days with the wrong results. But for years, I mean, you couldn't even go near someone's stadium if you didn't support them. It was genuinely dangerous. It was genuinely dangerous. Like away when I was younger, going to away days, I genuinely was so excited. Wow, man! According to the Daily Mail, Man United have now upped their demands and they're demanding £75 million for Alejandro Garnacho.
Bloody hell!
If we won't, right? If we got £75 million for him, right? Oh my God, I'd die with laughter.
Well, unless we're all wrong and the guy's an absolute baller. You know what I mean?
Scores 15 goals between now and the end of the season, and we're all like, oh no, Chelsea win the league, and we're sitting there in 12th, going, fuck's sake. We've got some money though. LB, who is the worst owners? FSG, KSE, Levy, or the Glazers?
I would say Levy.
Yeah, I'm not going to name him because I want to.
There's no explanation. It's just no explanation needed.
Someone you both know is a Spurs fan. He tweeted, he deleted it, but he tweeted a picture of Levy Sunday when they were 3-0 down. Basically, he said, I think it was words to the effect of, I hope you die. I was like, I messaged straight away. I said, bruv, delete that because that'll get you in trouble. It's gone now. But I was like, they are fuming. Let's have a look at this here. They're going to try and ban that app in our country. Yeah, I heard they banned it, but it's back again now. I don't know.
What app? TikTok,
yeah.
Yeah, the one you got bullied off.
They did ban it, and now it's come back.
LB, KJ, make sure you clip that up. LB got bullied off of off of there. Gents, look, it's always a pleasure to sit and speak football with the two of you. I look forward to it every single week. To all of our viewers and our super chatters, you're absolutely amazing. We're back tonight after the Champions League games to review them. Obviously, Liverpool one's a little bit of a damp squib, really, but Villa's game, very, very big. So we're live after the Champions League tonight. Until next time, everyone, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Go check out, by the way, 12th Man, which is Potsy's channel, and It's LB. Just It's LB. Go and search them both up. Go and follow the boys now as well. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.